Why, hello. I didn't see you there. I'm Kenny, and I am playing some Magic the Gathering on Arena. I am diving back in once more to Dungeons & Dragons, Adventures in the Forgotten Realms. Truly, they are Forgotten Realms. As you may know, if you've listened to the previous episode of this series, I have gotten my ass beat over and over in this format. Still trying to figure it out. Here I am with a different color pairing, a different archetype that I have not tried so far. This is black-white adventuring. Venturing into the dungeon. And with black-white, the goal is to complete a dungeon. Whereas blue-white, which I have not played, is just to venture and venture and venture again. So here's my deck that I have drafted. I have two rares. I have Triumphant Adventurer that I started with, white and a black for a 1/1 death touch. On my turn, it has first strike, and when it attacks, I venture. So I start exploring the dungeon. I also have Vorpal Sword, 1 black mana for +2/+0 and death touch equipment. It equips for just 2 black mana, a fine deal. And then if I can ever swing it, for 8 mana, I can activate it so that it kills a player whenever the creature does damage. I will be very excited if I can make that happen for you today. Other than that, I've got +2 mace and a Delver's Torch for some more equipment. I have 2 power word kills. You may recall I had that last draft that I played. It did not help me over much. But I have Black Dragon, I have Eyes of the Beholder, I have, for my venturing package, I've got a Cloister Gargoyle, I have a Gloomstalker as a payoff, I have Clattering Skeletons, I have 2 Veteran Dungeoneers, I have 2 Zombie Ogres and a Planar Ally. I have a lot of things that will help me venture into the dungeon. So join me, will you, as we begin our own venture. Alright, an opening hand. We do not have a lot of early plays in this opening hand. We do have 3 lands and 4 non-lands, but our early spells are just an equipment, a 5-drop, a 6-drop, and a 6-drop. I think this is unacceptable. We will not be able to do anything if I keep this hand. So we mulligan. This looks more reasonable. We have Power Word Kill, a Veteran Dungeoneer, Clattering Skeletons, and Eyes of the Beholder. I think we keep it and we throw away the Eyes of the Beholder. That is a 6-drop. That is too expensive for a mulligan hand. Opponent goes Island. They play Silver Raven. I've been told this card is not very good, and yet I have seen it a fair amount in my time. That may be more of a comment on my lack of skill and where I rank currently than the actual card itself. Or maybe it's a good card. What do I know? Alright, we play Swamp and we pass. They now have a 1/1 flyer. They play Den of the Bugbear. So this is a manland. Later in the game, they can pay 4 to turn it into a 3/2 goblin that makes a goblin when it attacks. Just pretty dope. We drew another Power Word Kill, which is good. It's an instant. They played a Trickster's Talisman, which is an equipment. If they go to equip it on their turn, we can kill the Silver Raven and just waste their turn. Which I think is what we're going to do, if they give us that opportunity. We do have 2 Power Word Kills in our hand after all. So they're just attacking us with their Silver Raven. We'll take the 1 damage, we don't care. They play Plundering Barbarian. It's a 3-mana 2/2 that makes a treasure token. That's fine. We're fine with that. Do I kill the Barbarian on my turn? I don't think so. At this point, I feel a little silly. But we do have a play this turn. We're going to play the Cloister Gargoyle. This is a 3-mana 0/4. We immediately venture into the dungeon. And we're going to the Lost Mines. So now they have a 1/1 flyer and a 2/2 non-flyer. We have an 0/4 blocker. They're attacking with everything. We're just going to block the barbarian. If they want to waste a removal spell, they do. So they spent a removal spell killing our 0-4 wall that ventured for us. That is fine. They did not play a land. That is very interesting. Well, now things are looking pretty juicy. We're going to play a Veteran Dungeoneer, which lets us venture further into the dungeon. And I think let's get saucy. Let's go to the mine tunnels. We're going to get a treasure token with this venture. So we're getting pretty close to finishing up this dungeon. If our opponent goes to kill our Veteran Dungeoneer, we drew a Feigned Death. Okay, they did not do that. They cashed in their treasure token for a Ginny Windseer. Genie Windseer? I don't know. It's a 3/3 flyer that is going to let them scry 2. That's fine. They hit us for 1 with their silly Silver Raven. We are at 16 and they're at 20 now. Now things are getting interesting. They have a 3/3 flyer and a 1/1 flyer, so things are less certain now. I think we're going to pay 2 for a Delver's Torch. It costs 3 to equip. We are not going to equip. We're saving back our mana to kill their flying 3/3. So they're going to equip their flying genie. That's fine. We're going to murder this thing. We are going to power word kill this genie. They attack with their flyers. We power word kill the Windseer. They hit us for 1. We are at 15. They are at 20. As usual, it feels like my opponent has done way more than I have, and yet they still have the same amount of cards in hand that I do. Let's see what we can do about that. We're gonna go ahead and attack, I think. We're attacking with the Dungeoneer, a 3/4. They take it. Fantastic. We have 4 mana available, 5 if we want to use our treasure, but we don't. We're just going to put our Clattering Skeletons into play. A 4/3. So now they're looking at a 3/4 and a 4/3 on our side. Big beefcakes. And they have a 1/1 flyer and a 2/2 non-flyer. That's all they got. They do still have their Trickster's Talisman, which is whatever. They play a Shortcut Seeker. So this is a 2/5 that if it can hit me, will let them venture. Spoilers, it's not going to hit me. Do we just power word kill the Shortcut Seer? I think so, because it blocks both of our attacks. So I think we power word it. It dies. We equip our skeleton, and then we attack with everything. We are getting close to finishing this dungeon, my friends. This will be an achievement. I have not completed a dungeon in my career thus far. So they blocked with their barbarian, who died horribly. And things are looking okay. They have 3 cards in hand, and they have 5 mana available. I'm sure someone at home listening can tell me how I'm about to lose horribly to some combat trick. But I have Feigned Death in hand, so I actually feel pretty comfortable. Okay, so they save their mana for a Faraday's Fireball. It's 5 damage to my creature. But I'm going to Feign Death. We have completed the dungeon with the death of my Clattering Skeletons. We have entered the Temple of Doomathoin, which, ta-da, lets me draw a card. Amazing. Absolutely incredible. They go to 11. I'm at 13. I'm going to go ahead and play my zombie ogre, which is going to let me venture yet again. Here we go. Opponent, once again, just plays a land and passes the turn. They have 2 cards in hand, so I guess they have some kind of combat trick. I'm not really sure what they're up to. They're looking at a vicious board on my side. They have their silly 1/1 flyer into my 3/4, my 5/4, and my 3/5. I will be equipping my Delver's Torch onto my zombie ogre. Now it's a 4/6. I just don't see any way that they can get through this. Famous last words? Question mark. Another Faraday's Fireball. They are on 1 health after that. Okay. You know, we don't mind that. Now they need to put 3 creatures on the board. They did not do that. We are attacking with everything. Another Faraday's Fireball. They rolled the 1 to 9, so they did 2 damage to themselves, and they are dead. We love that. Things are off to a raucous start. 1-0. I can't believe it. Let's look for another match. Match found. This hand has a lot of medium plays. We have 3 lands, 2 3-drops, a 5-drop, and a 6-drop. I don't think I can really afford to throw this away, though. We're keeping this 7. We get to go first. Amazing. That definitely helps our relatively slow draw. They play a mountain and pass. We have a fantastic draw. Our Triumphant Adventurer, our 1/1 Death Toucher, first strike on our turn. Great, great draw. That really smooths out this opening for us. Opponent goes Swamp. So they're on the treasure. And they instantly kill our 2-drop. Well, you know, we trade 2-drops. Not the end of the world. I think now... So we have a choice. Do we want our 0/4 or our 1/4? Cloister Gargoyle or Skullport Merchant? It's really the same thing when you come right down to it. I'm playing whichever one I play. I'm likely playing the next one on my next turn. We'll play the Gargoyle. Why not? See, now this is tough. I scryed 1 with my Venture, and on the top I see Power Word Kill, but we don't have a land next turn. It'd be really nice to hit a land, but I really want to keep this Power Word. I think we're keeping the Power Word. We have a play next turn with the aforementioned Skullport Merchant, so I think we keep it. They played a Rust Monster, a 2/1 first striker. It's fine. They're attacking with their Rust Monster, challenging us to block. I'll take that challenge. See if they have a combat trick or a burn spell. They have a Manticore, so that kills our creature. That's fine. We're not going to be too broken up about that. We'll go ahead and play our Veteran Dungeoneer. Get ourselves a treasure token since we are short on mana. And we'll go ahead and attack with our Skullport Merchant. Just pinging them for 1 damage. It's now 20 life for us, 19 for them. They attacked with their Rust Monster, which just died into our Veteran Dungeoneer. They did play a Zombie Ogre afterwards, which means since a creature died, they venture. That really doesn't seem worth it, though. They threw a card away to venture. Definitely not worth it, in my opinion. And now, I think, given that we have nothing else to do, we have to Power Word Kill their Ogre and then just smack them for 4. Because we really don't have anything to do. We could play the +2 mace right now, but that would mean sacrificing our treasure. That sounds dubious. That sounds dubious. They pass, having done nothing else. This is getting sketchy. They're at 15, we're at 18. We have a 1-4 and a 3-4. They have a 2-1 flyer. I'm gonna wait and see if they have something to stop us. How can they have nothing to do right now? It's gonna be an Eyes of the Beholder? Nope. Yep, Eyes of the Beholder. Called it. So they spend 6 mana to kill my veteran Dungeoneer. Fair enough. Well, given that we're not doing anything else, we'll play the +2 mace. If nothing else next turn, we can equip our merchant and get a 2/2 creature. Ooh, that was a bad play, wasn't it? I could have used the Skullport merchant to sacrifice the Dungeoneer and get a card. Yeah, that was bad. Alright, they play Zorn, a 3/2 that makes it so that if they make a treasure, they get an extra treasure. That's a great card for the red-black deck. Wow. Wonder if that was the first pick for them. They hit us for 2 with the Manticore. And now they pass to us? No. They play Horde Robber, a 1/3 when it does damage to a player, you make a treasure, which will now make 2 treasures with Zorn in play. Very interesting. We draw land. That's very handy. I think our opponent has so much land already. Our opponent's on 6 land. They can cast whatever they want. So I'm really not worried about them making a bunch of treasure tokens. I think we're going to equip our Skullport Merchant and just pass. So we've got a big, beefy 3/6, huge butt creature. They'll probably just attack us with their 2/1 flyer. They attack with everything. Incredible. We killed the Zorn. They get a treasure, but so what? They already have 8 mana. Again, these are famous last words. Now they cast... They already had enough mana. They just cast Black Dragon. They already had enough mana to cast that. It is unfortunate because if I blocked the Horde Robber, my merchant wouldn't have died. But you know what? I'm really not going to beat myself up about that. I now have access to a potential 6 mana. And I think I just pass. Because I have Eyes of the Beholder right now. Or do I cast my Planar Ally? You know what? I think that's the better call. We cast Planar Ally. A 3/3 flyer. It holds back 2 of their attackers. They were on no cards. They drew Grim Bounty, which killed my creature. And they smashed me for a ton of damage. I am now at 6. So, things are not great. I'm still looking for another land. We're at 6 and they're at 14. They have a 4/4 flyer, a 1/3, and a 2/1 flyer. So they're going to try to smash in for the win. We're going to cast Eyes of the Beholder on their dragon. So we're going to take 3 damage still. We are on death's door. They cast Swarming Goblins, which means they get a 4/3 and a 1/1 goblin. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, yeah, there's no way for us to live here. So good game. That's it. Frustrating. It's frustrating when your opponent draws exactly what they need. But you know what? How satisfying is it when you draw exactly what you need? How often does it feel like serendipity when you draw the right thing? And it feels like an abysmal curse when your opponent draws the right thing. Nevertheless, we are 1-1 right now. This opening hand seems fine. We're looking at 3 lands, a Vampire Spawn, a Delver's Torch, so we have a nice turn 2 play, a Cloister Gargoyle as well. We'll take that. Opponent goes Swamp. Okay, another fellow black mana. Ooh, but they go Forest. Okay. They play Prosperous Innkeeper, a fantastic card. This is 2 mana for a 1/1 that makes a treasure and helps you gain life. Wonderful card. This is problematic because next turn they could very easily go for a huge play. That extra treasure, they could drop a 4-drop on us right now. Let's see if they do it. They don't. Instead, they check for traps, which means they're going to take a non-land card of mine. They take my Gargoyle. Fair enough. Honestly, makes my life a little easier. Now I don't have to think, I just play Vampire Spawn. So now it's 21 me, 17 them. Now what though? They cast Grim Bounty, my Vampire Spawn is gone. I don't feel that bad. They spent 4 mana killing my 3 mana creature. I'll play a Gloomstalker, a 2/3 that gets double strike as long as I've completed a dungeon. But right now it's just holding down the fort against this Innkeeper. Okay, opponent goes Lurking Roper. It's a 4/5 for 3 mana, great creature, but it doesn't untap during your untap step unless you gain life. But the Prosperous Innkeeper gains you life when a creature comes into play. Quite the combo there. Well, what now? I can't really attack into it, can I? I think the best thing we can do here is Power Word kill the Roper. That's going to be a huge problem for us anyway. And then we attack, do our 2 damage. We're at 20, they're at 16. We have 2 mana left. We play our Thieves' Tools. This is an equipment, makes a treasure for us when it comes into play. And when it's equipped, the equipped creature can't be blocked as long as its power is 3 or less. If we can ever complete a dungeon and put that on the Gloomstalker, we are in business. A 2/3 double striker that can't be blocked, that is juice, my friends. They cast Fate's Reversal, so they're getting their Lurker back in their hands, which they can, of course, immediately play. They're choosing the Tomb of Annihilation. This is the punishing dungeon, the one that just taxes everybody forever. Let's just equip up our Gloomstalker with our Delver's Torch and Thieves' Tools and just get in. So we do 3 damage, and then we enter the Lost Mine of Phandelver. We see a 6 mana spell, and we only have 4 mana in play, so that goes to the bottom. They're at 13. Now, we're at 18, but they have 5 attacking power right now. Even worse, they have Hunter's Mark, which they use to kill our only creature, our Gloomstalker. We're at 12 now. Things are looking extraordinarily dicey. They play another creature which untaps their Lurker. We need a hero. We need a miracle. What do we actually have? Zombie Ogre, which at this point is a 3/5 creature for 5 mana. I don't think I need to tell you that that is not very good. This format, I tell you. Okay, so my opponent attacked me with all 3 creatures, one of them being the Sylvan Shepherd. When it attacks, you roll a d20. 1 to 9, you gain 1 life. 10 to 19, you get 2 life. And on a 20, you gain 5 life. They rolled a 20. This is the only die I've seen in this draft. It's pretty wild how many natural 20s I've seen so far. The opponent is really popping off, it has to be said. I don't love it, you know. I love it less than anyone when you get right down to it. We pass to them. We're at 7, they're at 20. They have a 4/5, a 2/2 Death Touch, and a 1/1. This doesn't look good. They still have 2 cards in hand as well. That's the worst part. Presumably, if they have nothing in hand, they'll just attack with the Death Toucher. They attack with nothing, which is very confusing. They have 6 mana available and a 2/2 Death Toucher into my 7. I'm very confused, but we take it, I suppose. We now have enough for our Black Dragon, which we're going to go ahead and cast. We kill their Death Toucher, and no attacks. Another mistake there. I delved further into the dungeon because of my Zombie Ogre trigger. I got a Goblin where I should have gotten a treasure because I have Feigned Death in my hand, which would have saved a creature. Fortunately, it looks like my opponent doesn't have a removal spell, so I'm not punished for that. Well, now we have a 4/4 flyer, and they don't have flying or reach, so we attack them. I drew an Evolving Wilds. I'm holding in my hand because they know I have Feigned Death all the way back from when they looked at my hand. Now I have a card that they don't know about that I'm not playing. So they're like, what does he have in his hand? What could it be? I just have no idea. Right, they're enchanting my Ogre with Precipitous Drop, which is going to give them a Venture, but it gives my Ogre -2/-2. So now I have a 2/4 Ogre instead of a 4/6 Ogre, which, as I'm sure you know, is less than ideal. They venture further into the tomb. We will go ahead and discard the Evolving Wilds I was just speaking about. This is quite the back and forth. They're attacking with their Roper. I'm just going to go ahead and block with my Goblin because I'm at 7 and taking 4 does not sound palatable. This does mean they get to venture further with their Zombie Ogre. So be it. So they venture further into the Tomb of Annihilation. As I said, this is punishing, so I sacrifice a permanent. I'm getting rid of my Thieves' Tools. I don't see them being useful here. Drew another land. I really can't afford to attack. My opponent has too many creatures, so we have to move our Torch to the Black Dragon, which will make it a 5/5, which will profitably block any of their creatures, but they have so many. They have a 1/1, a 4/5, a 3/5, and a 2/2. I currently have a 1/3 and a 5/5 flyer, and I'm at 7 life, so it depends on how much gas they have in the tank. They're attacking with exactly 2 creatures, and they're small creatures. They're 1/1 and they're 2/2. I can't afford to play around whatever they have in their hand, so I'm just blocking them. Maybe a Manticore they're going to play. No? They just sacrificed 2 creatures for nothing. I mean, they do complete their dungeon off of Zombie Ogre. When creatures die, he ventures further. So they get a 4/4 creature with Death Touch. It doesn't seem that good. I'm going to be perfectly straightforward with you. I drew another land. I mean, if I drew anything, this game would be very different, but as you can see, I'm not drawing anything. Our opponent passed the turn, even though they could just win if they just attacked with all their creatures. I'm at 7. I have a 5/5. They have a 4/4, a 4/5, and a 3/5. They're very scared of what's in my hand. Little do they know, I have actual stone nothing. I drew Power Word Kill. I mean, they're opening the door for us to come back into this game. I'm just going to keep more cards in my hand. If they're this scared, I just want to give them more reason to be scared. They play a Knoll Hunter, a 2/2 with Pack Tactics. They attack with 6 or more power. It gets a 1/1 counter. They are terrified. They pass the turn again. We drew Triumphant Adventurer. We now have a 1/1 Death Toucher. things are not getting better for our opponent. They're not getting much better for us, to be fair, but opponent plays land and passes. This is madness. This is Sparta. We draw a 3-4. I can't believe this game is still going. So we played our veteran Dungeoneer. We venture further into the dungeon. We're almost done with this dungeon. We get a 1/1 counter on a creature. We'll put it on our Triumphant Adventurer, and I think we're just going to attack with it, to be honest, so we can complete this dungeon. So we drew a card off of completing the dungeon. We knocked them down to a whopping 14. We have 7 still. We end the turn. We still have Feigned Death, and we still have Power Word Kill. Our 5/5 Black Dragon is really holding things down. Now they choose to attack with everything, of all times. So we're going to go ahead and Power Word Kill their Roper, because it's too annoying to deal with. Okay, we're gonna let that resolve. We'll pass to blockers. We'll block their 3/3 with our 3/4. We'll block their Atropole 4/4 Death Touch with our Dragon. And then we will Feign Death our Black Dragon. So now we're at 4. But now they have a Zombie Ogre and a Lightfoot Rogue. Things are looking surprisingly good. Keep in mind, our opponent definitely should have won already. We're going to go ahead and attack them with our 5/5 Black Dragon. No, cancel that. Yes, sorry. Our Dragon and our Adventurer are going to go ahead and attack in. They're at 7 and we're at 5. I mean, things are quite close now. And we will cast Planar Ally, a 3/3 flyer. And we'll go ahead and equip, I suppose, our Adventurer. Might as well. Again, that's a missed trigger. Should have gotten that the first time. Should have got that when I attacked. Should have had another trigger. But our opponent surrenders. We win. Victory. Excellent. Truly excellent. Well, we should have lost that game. We should be 1-2, and instead we're 2-1. We take those. I think I'll continue this venture into the dungeon at a later point in time. I really appreciate you tagging along with me. I hope you enjoy these. I think this is really fun. It's good for me. It helps me think about the game more. And it definitely helps me keep calm when maybe ordinarily I wouldn't. So yeah, I appreciate you. Thanks. Join me next time.